by the CNCF Code of Conduct. Yeah. Also, you can ask your questions in the chat, and you can find these slides in the link given below. So, yeah. So, the basically the agenda for this meeting is to basically orient you with the Kubernetes community. I know Kubernetes can sound a little overwhelming, but this is the basic point of this. We will basically help you get started with how the Kubernetes community function from the very start. Uh, First of all, we will start the presentation with the information about the community, and then we will head on to the community structure, and we will also cover like what does it actually means to be a contributor, and how you can actually get started with contributing. And then we have some couple of work opportunities. And then we will be having a Q&A. You can ask your questions in the chat as well. So let's move on. So a quick intro about me. I am Arpit Agarwal. I am a member of the Kubernetes community now for 2 years, and I am also a social media coordinator. I also happen to write some blogs around. So yeah, that is about me. So now let's get started, and now let's meet the Kubernetes community. So this image is basically from the Kubernetes Contributor Summit. And now here is a basic community snapshot, and here are some of the basic stats. You can say numbers to give you a sense of how big the Kubernetes community is. We basically track this data for our contributors via GitHub, and we have few other tools as well. So we collect the data, and this data is basically from November of 2024, and currently we have around over 92K contributors, and these 92K contributors have done around 4.43 million contributions, and all these contributions are just reviewed by 7.4K reviewers. So yeah, like more on this later, but this is a basic idea of how big the community is. This is a graph from the 2023 Kubernetes project journey report, and this will give you an idea on how Kubernetes has grown since it's started. For those of you who don't know, Kubernetes is there from 2014, and from 2014 to 2023, we grew from like zero to over 80K contributors in the first 10 years. So that's a big milestone to achieve. Okay, so now before we dive deeper into the community, some of you may be unfamiliar with what what is Kubernetes, and what it does and all. So first of all, Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform, and Kubernetes is also known as K8s. It's an open source container orchestration engine, as I have told you. It's basically used for automating and deploying stuff. So first of all, let's get started with what does an open source project mean. Uh, okay, yeah. So basically, Kubernetes also happened to be the second largest open source project in the world after Linux. Yeah, now let's get started with what is Kubernetes in a nutshell. So here is a slight example for this. So uh, basically, let's imagine you are running a business, and you have a lot of apps to run. Like businesses have websites, they have payrolls, application, inventory management, etc. So here's a business, and you have a lot of applications to run. But and you also happen to have a lot of servers. There are a lot of computers, and yeah, these things are computers, just happen to be in a form of server. So, what Kubernetes enables is a business say like, hey Kubernetes, here are the computers I have, and here are the apps that I need to run on it. You can basically describe the various levels of detail and about how you want to run the application. So the Kubernetes will basically configure it all, and it will decide like how many nodes it want to run for an entire app, and if it goes down, Kubernetes will handle it. So uh, this is what Kubernetes is in a nutshell, and like how does it do the magic? We will see in the further slides, and also this magic happens because of the community. So yeah. So now let's talk about the Kubernetes community structure. Okay. So as I have told you, like Kubernetes is an open source project within the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. So the Cloud Native Computing Foundation is also known as CNCF, and basically CNCF is a non-profit organization, and it's basically stated mission to make cloud native ubiquitous. To the end, the support To that end, they support like many open source projects that enable companies to run applications in the cloud. The CNCF also provide like funding and the guidance and services. So uh, Kubernetes basically comes under the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, and uh, the primate blow, what you are seeing, the steering community represents the structure of the whole Kubernetes community as a whole. So at the top, okay, so at the top, we have the okay. So the primate blow basically represents the structure of the Kubernetes community. So at the top we have the steering committee, which basically consists of 7 members, and all the 7 members are elected by the Kubernetes org members. There is an election that happens every year where we elect the steering members, and this the steering committee basically looks over all the uh, interfaces within the CNCF and how Kubernetes deals with it. Then we have 6 working groups. So 6 are basically known as special interest groups. So Kubernetes is a very large project, and there are many different concepts with the project that need unique skills and knowledge. So, for example, the way Kubernetes nodes where workloads are to be run. Uh, do what uh, so basically 6 are basically specialized in a particular area. Meanwhile, the challenge of writing and maintaining the documentation is also a huge challenge. So we have a special interest group for documentation as well. So basically what SIG does is they basically break down the work among themselves. So yeah, sometimes however, there are big areas that need attention, and uh, a single SIG cannot handle that. So sometimes they split out into what we call our working groups. So our working group is generally temporary. They consist members from various SIGs and uh, they are basically temporary, so their target is to achieve a particular goal, and at the end of that, generally working groups are either dissolved or they basically converted into a full-time sick. So those what our working groups are, and then we have sub projects. So you can consider sub projects as uh, projects within a SIG. Um, this is how SIGs divide their internal work. So within a SIG, there can be multiple sub-projects, and this is how they divide the work within the SIG. So you can have a look on the GitHub repo for the SIGs, more on that later. But you can find multiple sub-projects, and you can actually uh, tag us in the Slack for the particular SIG, and you can actually show your interest. Like, I am very interested to work on a particular sub project, and I am folks will help you. So in Kubernetes, we have like 24 special interest groups, 7 working groups, and 3 committee. Okay, so apart from so this is also this is the Kubernetes community structure, how it's basically divided into scopes. So we can actually further divide six into sorry, we can actually further divide six via scope, and this is actually how we do it. So first of all, we have the project level. So the project level six are basically those who basically directly deal with the very core functionality of the Kubernetes, and they basically affects the entire project. And they collaborate with all the other groups. And all the other groups also depends on the work of these uh, groups. So yeah. Then we have horizontal scope where six which are working under this scope has the deep and broad technical focus. They basically owns core functionality for a project from an architecture perspective. So also the vertical group depends on the horizontal group, and the horizontal groups depend on the project group. So that is one thing. And then we have the vertical scope. They also have a very specific and technical focus, and vertical groups are generally tends to depend on the work of the horizontal and project groups. Of course, these like the all the three scopes depends on one another. But this is but in the next slide, you can see like these are all the six which are divided via their scopes. So yeah, for example, like I can understand that you may not know all these six, but here is a basic overview. So you have probably known for SIG API machinery and SIG authentication before. So we consider these to be the horizontal groups, and in the vertical groups you can see like SIG apps and SIG auto scaling, and you can also see like SIG architecture and SIG docs are basically in the project level because they directly affect the project. So now let's move on to my favorite part, like why do you want to contribute? So there are many reasons for like why do you actually want to contribute? There can be your job requires it. There might be like there are also contributors who work with the community on a purely like volunteer basis, and there are also contributors who are somewhere in the middle where their work also requires it to do open source contributions, and they also do it for fun, and there are folks who completely do it for fun. So yeah, your reasons might can be vary, but that is very important. Like you have to think very carefully about why do you want to contribute. The reason why I am saying like you need to think carefully like why you want to contribute is because if you are clear about this, you can communicate it to the community while discussing on issue, or while asking for help, or like by helping others. You can basically show your intent, like okay, I want to contribute, and this is the particular reason I want to start it, because you have now communicated it well. So the folks from the community have a good idea on how to help you get started. So this is very important. So I really say like think carefully before you are getting started. Like why actually do you want to contribute? Okay, so now let's move ahead on what does it mean to be a contributor. Okay, so first of all, what counts as a contribution? So the answer is very simple. Any work that you do to support the open source Kubernetes project counts. Even attending this meeting is also counts as a contribution technically. So yeah, so there are some of the these are some of the basic points. Uh, you can have a look. Like there are uh, certain contributions that anyone can do. Uh, you can also get started by posting an hello message in the Slack channel, in the Kubernetes new contributors channel in the Kubernetes Slack, and that's a contribution. So if you have ever commented on an issue in the GitHub, that is also an contribution. And like here's a list of basic contributions. You can volunteer to take notes in any of the SIG meetings. Like this is an contributor orientation session, but if you have joined it from the Kubernetes community calendar, you have where like the Kubernetes community calendar has all the meetings. You can attend uh, meetings according to your interest and ask there to taking notes, or you can ask a question on the Slack, or you can correct grammatical or spelling errors in the documentation. These all are valid contributions, and we appreciate it a lot. Uh, Also, you can implement new features. That's the cool stuff. Commenting on a cap, filing an issue, or you can even write a blog post. So that's a sort of to contribute comms. Uh, you can also help a fellow contributor to work on a problem, and there are much more. There is no extent, but these are basic things that everyone can do. So yeah, and you are attending this meeting, so yeah, that's an contribution. So that's a clap for you. Okay, so now let's talk about the contributor ladder. So there are various levels of being a contributor. So in the previous slide, I have talked about there are almost 7.4K reviewers and who have done around 4.43 contributions and all. So now we will have a look on what that basically means. And starting from the very bottom, so a maximum of you are here, like you are non-member contributors. Basically, if you have done any of the things that I previously mentioned, you are already a contributor. But that said, that you are a non-member contributor. So uh, what to do if you want to like really get involved with the community? You want to actually go for an org membership, and basically, and org membership is basically refers to the member of a Kubernetes organization on GitHub. So Kubernetes is registered as an organization on GitHub, and basically, if you are a member of that, that is basically what is known as org member. So an org member give you like if you are an org member, that is basically you have some higher privileges to interact with the tools, and you can also use a couple of various tools like we have the PowerBot in GitHub, which help you to apply labels and stuff. And then uh, having our membership is also a sign that you are an active, engaged contributor who intend to contribute over a long period of time. So basically, if you see anyone as a Kubernetes org member, that means they are an active contributor. So yeah, but Uh, I know that can be overwhelming, and like there are there are some of the challenges you want to come, like there are some of the emotional challenges you want to come on to being like to apply for the org membership. Like there are, I can understand there are many doubts, like where do I start, what issues should I pick on, or if you are looking on the issues page at the Kubernetes GitHub, then there are many, and some of them my are very overwhelming to understand. So yeah, that's I understand. And so okay, so being an org membership basically means that you are developing expertise over uh, that you are sorry, that you are developing expertise over a period of time. So yeah, so like beyond becoming an org member, there are certain level of trust. Like if you are like let's say now you are a org member. So after that, if you are being active in the community, and after taking off a couple of tasks, you develop a certain amount of trust in the community. So once you have been engaged in an area for a while, you might have enough knowledge to basically help review the contributions. So you are doing the contributions before as an org member. Now, because you are doing it for a while, now you have a certain expertise that you can also review the contributions, and that is when you basically help reviewers to review, and then you can uh, go ahead on a next up, like on the next level, that is the reviewer. So reviewer basically reviews the PRs frequently, and they basically they don't approve it, but they review it and help the community to uh, uh, get the PRs much uh, like what I say, they help the community to merge the PRs uh, in an increasing rate. Also, the next stage is an approver. So this is where now you for approver you can say that now you have built enough trust that the SIG chairs now trust you that you can also approve the PS. So being an approver means that you have the final say on what get merged and what not. So uh, this basically need so a reviewer with a certain amount of experience can become an approver, and uh, this is what the approval level is all about. And then we have the sub project owner level. So this is, you can say it like, if you become a strong expert in a specific area, and you are very highly trusted in the community, uh, and everyone knows you now for your expertise. So uh, you might want to take on some new responsibilities, and you might then become the person uh, like you then become the person uh, who is like approached by others on a particular issue. So yeah, that is basically then that is basically someone who might consider for the sub project owner. And basically a sub project owner basically is a person uh, who basically is uh, what I can say. This is if I want to explain it like this. So basically, now you are a person who is well frequently contacted about the project, and basically is super active regarding that particular project in the community. And then we have the sub project lead. So if you're an expert who like starts leading things in that area, you might also want to take responsibility for various resources within that area, and how they relate to the other parts of the project. For example, I have an example for you. So, for example, you might take responsibilities for the README file defining the whole sub-project, which is where people would go to learn about it. And you might become the contact person who basically try requests from other parts of the project. At that point, you might be a sub-project lead. So if you're leading a whole sub project, that's a considerable chunk of work within a SIG, but you are probably interacting and collaborating with leads of other sub projects, and you are probably developing a pretty strong sense of the mission, objectives, and ongoing work of the SIG as a whole. So at that point, you may become a chair or a tech lead for an entire SIG, like for an entire special interest group. So if you remember our community structure diagram from earlier, you might wonder if becoming a member of the steering committee would be a next step. But steering is an elected position, as I have told you earlier. You can actually run for a steering at any point past org membership. So technically, you can stand in the election after you get your org membership. But you will be more likely to get elected the better your contributions are, and the better folks know you in the community. So is it like in traditional election, the more you get known, the higher the chances of being elected, and also your contributions matters the most. But technically, you can uh, file a nomination after being an org member. So yeah, one thing I want to mention is the ladder represent how ownership might build, but parts can be different and routes can be different for all of us. So this is not the ideal part, but this is a part you might want to follow. So yeah, now let's talk about how you can actually get started contributing. So yeah, very simple thing is the fastest way you can learn and make yourself useful is to find a SIG or a sub project you are interested in and just start attending the SIG meetings and keep attending meetings. Because this is from a personal experience. At very start, you can find SIG meetings to be very overwhelming and going over your head. But be person like be persistent, and you will just going to get a heck of it. Also, I would say that basically not mean like you immediately start picking up an issue or writing code, but often get involving means like you are like getting yourself familiar with the folks, attending meetings. Note taking is a great way of getting a heck of what is going on and what the community is actually working on. So, yeah, so that's a way you can get started easily. Also, we have the Kubernetes Slack and the KDev mailing list. So, the Kubernetes Slack is the primary way how a community communicates casually, and the Kubernetes developer Google group is the primary way how the community shares the announcement. So if anything significant happened in the community, that so you can expect an announcement over this mailing list. Okay, so now here's the thing. We have talked about SIGs. We have also talked about like what to expect and what not to from them. But there's a question like how you can learn about SIGs. So you can basically go to the git.k8s.io/community and you can find the info about all the SIGs and working groups in the like on that GitHub page here, and here is an screenshot from that. And then you will find the folders for all the SIGs which are currently active in the Kubernetes community, and you might to explore them. But Here is an SIG repo walkthrough from the contributor experience SIG. So uh, yeah, so basically when you click on a SIG folder in the community repo, it will show you that folder README. So at the top of this basic README file, you can find a brief summary of what that SIG focus area and what likely are linked to their more detailed team charter. This will give you a broad high level idea of what that particular SIG does. Then below the summary, you will find the information about when that particular SIG have meetings. Now, I have already told you like attending meetings is often a very great way to learn more about the group and what they are currently working on and how they do their work. So, different SIGs can do their work slightly differently because they are different teams and more or less. There can be a slight variation in how a particular SIG does work. So yeah, and again, meetings is the sort way to get started and contributing. But I would say you need to be persistent because in first couple of them you can feel overwhelmed, but you just need to talk it out and like you need to like talk it out and like uh, let them know that you are there. So yeah, then you will also find the information about SIG leadership. So most SIGs have both the concept, like most of the SIGs have both the concept of the chairs as well as technical leads. So in the case of this SIG, the chairs. are Kathleen Fields and Navrun Paul, and you can also look at the technical leads, which are Madhav and Priyanka, respectively. So they are the point of context if you want uh, to uh, know about certain things, or but I would say asking in the public SIG channel is the best way to go for it. But these leaders are at the same level of trust and responsibility, uh, like the chairs, but likely on different types of tasks, like for supporting the sick. So basically, chairs tend to do more of the project management type work for the sick, while tech leads basically do more of the architecture leadership and basically manage the code stuff and certain technical decisions and processes. So each SIG basically defines what these roles means to them, and each leader will be a little different. So yeah. Also, you will also find the contact information for the SIG. So most SIGs in the Kubernetes do a lot of asynchronous communication to their channel within the Kubernetes Slack, uh, which you can join by visiting the slack.k8s.io. Uh, so this is you can always find a SIG in the Kubernetes Slack, and you can also join the SIG mailing list. So apart from the main Kubernetes mailing list, each SIG also have their separate mailing list so that you will get notified for the specific SIG announcement, you can say. Also, sometimes the mailing list is also invited for all the SIG meetings via the Google Calendar. So if you are adding yourself to the mailing list, you will also be getting invite for each of the SIG meetings. Okay. So you will also find information about where to find issues and PRs related to the SIG and other informations like the GitHub teams that are part of the SIG. Uh, so also every contributor should join the Kubernetes dev Google group, also known as, like, this is the same mailing list. And this is the primary channel where how Kubernetes community communicate as a whole. I have already told you, and I'm repeating this again because this is the primary mode of communicating. Okay. Now, here's the thing, like you are pretty much wondering, like every SIG have a meeting and checking every folder for the meetings is pretty hectic. So this is the Kubernetes community calendar, and checking out each you like you can get free yourself with the hassle of checking out each folder. Here you can find the list of every meeting, which is basically hosted from every SIG out there. And basically, the community maintains a contributor website at kates.dev. And within kates.dev, we have a page with this with the all information and all public community meetings. So this is where the calendar is. And clicking on one of the meetings will bring you a new window. Will bring you a new window, and basically you can add that meeting into your calendar, and you can directly join the meeting at that particular time from here as well. So, a fun fact: I joined this meeting from the Kubernetes community calendar. Also, now let's talk about what are the actual work opportunities in the Kubernetes community. So uh, we have something called evergreen opportunities. So these are evergreen because they are always open and anyone can contribute to them. Uh, so yeah, as I have told you, like meeting note taking, that is a thing that is always available. There's no experience required, but by doing that, you can get a very good idea of how that particular SIG functions. So that is highly recommended. Apart from that, for SIG contributors specifically, we have something which is like SIG Spotlight blogs that are always available, and no worries, like blogs always keep getting outdated, and we always need a new version of that existing blog, because tech is continuously evolving. So yeah, again, no experience required, and you can basically reach out to the SIG contribute forms, or you can like directly show your interest, like, hey, I am interested in writing a SIG Spotlight blog. How do I get started? And everyone will be super happy to help you. So apart from this, SIG contributors also have contributor submit staff. So this basically happens 2 times per year, and this is basically comes in the event, and for this you basically require an org membership. So you will find the more details on the event theme page. And then we have SIG docs. So there's an always open opportunity for the PR reviews, because documentation is always going under changes or adding uh, some new documentation. So there are always a need of reviewers. And then there's the new contributor meet and greet, which basically happens every first Tuesday of the month at 10:30 UTC. You can also find this on community calendar as well, and you can also find it on the SIG docs page. So now, uh, there's a couple of tasks with a certain amount of skill level required, because I know evergreen opportunities are great because they represent work that always needs doing, and which is likely well defined. But a lot of work is one-off style, basically an issue that needs fixing, or a work on a new feature. Many of these type of tasks basically require a certain amount of skills to complete, and you might see an open request that requires a skill you want to develop, and then think you basically pick a task to learn. But be wary of doing this. Like, the reason I am asking to be cautious is because if the task was easy for some, like if the task was easy, there's a high chance that someone has already done that, and probably the current members of the SIG have already completed it. But it and it wouldn't be an open request. So many requests with the skill requirements are open because no one in the community currently has those skills, so they can't teach them also. Or there's a case that they may be open because the people who do have those skills are too busy and can't pick up more work, because uh, as I said, like there's a huge amount of folks who do the open source work voluntarily out of their own will. So they do manage it with their existing jobs and stuff. So there's a high chance that they are busy and they cannot pick up more work. Uh, but still, if you are coming to the Kubernetes community with the existing skills like programming languages, and you know, like Linux networking, or have expertise in a certain cloud provider, these tasks can be a great opportunity for you to contribute in the community. But I would also say, like, before picking up any of the task, you should always approach in that particular SIG channel in the Slack, like on the Slack, and you should talk to the either you should either talk to the maintainer, or you should ask them publicly, like, is their task is open, how about it, and you should like communicate very transparently your intent, and then get it assigned. So now this slide basically lists the current calls for help, which are sort of technical. So in Contribex, we have the website maintenance going on, where we need someone who have Hugo, like who have the knowledge of Hugo Doxy, and then we have the mentoring program management, where we need help to set up and support and execute the current Kubernetes group mentoring program. Uh, and then we have some work regarding Electo. You can always ask regarding all of these in the public Slack, and I would highly recommend you to do so because that is how you will get started. So here are some more things you can do. So you can see like SIG etcd have mentorship cohort. By the way, for those of you don't know, currently SIG etcd uh, have released the forms for the mentorship cohort. You can uh, find it via googling it, and like the mentorship cohort is actually like for the applications for mentees are currently they are accepting the application, so you can find a form and fill it. Apart from that, we have blog reviews. Now, if you think I have talked about this opportunity in the evergreen section as well, so there are certain technical blogs also that SIGDocs publish, and that basically requires someone with a technical expertise to basically review those blogs. So that is why SIGDocs have both evergreen as well as somewhat of uh, technical expertise contributions as well. So, and then we have the localization project where we like the SIGDocs basically aims to localize the Kubernetes documentation in most languages as possible. So, yeah, and then we have SIG testing and SIG art. SIG testing needs help with the draw, so you need somewhat familiarity with that. And then there's an hydrophone project going on, so you can contribute to that as well. And there are some more SIGs you can see, and you can like reach out to them and ask, uh, and you can basically ask about that. Now let's talk about some common contributions pitfall. Uh, so yeah, so there's one thing which is known as good the Fujitsu trap, but I'm not sure whether you will going to find one or not because they are very easily taken. So basically, the scenario lays out like this: like you are a new uh, prospective contributor, and you are very excited to contribute, and you basically decided, okay, I will find a good physics too, and you find it, and great, you have claimed it. So what you will think is, okay, I will write some code, and wow, I have now contributed to Kubernetes. But uh, the problem is, how will you do that? Once you have picked up the good first issue, how you are going to actually complete it? And this is where most of the contributors get lost, and they never get completed their first contributions and got demoral. So I mentioned earlier that Kubernetes community also uses tools like ProwBot to help us manage issues. So a simple question is, are you familiar with the bot? I know it's fine if you're not, but uh, maybe you will just start writing code. And then if you submit a PR, those reviewers, approvers, and owners we mentioned will appear to make sure that the issue has the right labels and the stuff on it. Once you have written your code, you will also need to get their attention to review your PR. Also, I would like to get you remembered like there's a lot more contributions than there are reviewers. So as I've told you in the starting slide, only 7.4K reviewers have reviewed almost 4.43 million contributions. So yeah, that's a huge number. So whenever you make a PR, reviewers and approvers will be automatically assigned. In case you don't know, whenever you make a PR, reviewers and approvers are assigned to you. But what if there are issues in your code? You might need to back and forth with the reviewers on GitHub. So are you comfortable with that? So for your first PR to get merged, you need to do a lot of communication stuff over GitHub and over Slack. So this is basically the good successful trap where you get lost. So that is why we recommend that uh, you join a SIG and then get started. Because when you join a SIG and then pick up an issue, there's a high chance that you have already talked it out, like what uh, uh, what the issue is, you have already understood it, and now you are ready. Also, like if there's a case like the person got lost and gave up on the contribution, then those PRs are basically the reviewers have to triage the PR, and uh, then someone will open it again and might ever like whatever they do with it. So that's a complete mess. So as I have told you, like again, you can always avoid this trap by joining a SIG and sticking with it, attending meetings, and then you will like get a heck of it. Now, I know this was a lot of information today, and this is only just the orientation meeting. And when you join your first meeting, I'm that's so that you are probably going to be overwhelmed. A lot of SIG meetings exist for active existing contributors to collaborate with each other on active in progress work. So this is what you can expect in a SIG meetings. Like the folks are discussing the work that is currently going on. And that doesn't mean that you should not join as a new contributor, because when you join as a new contributor and you attended a couple of SIG meetings for like say a couple of weeks now, you have a solid idea of what is going on, and then you can ask to get yourself something assigned and uh, go forward with it. This way you will learn faster, and you will basically have a check on whatever action you are taking. But uh, it might mean that you feel a little bit of left out and lost like a first few times, but don't be afraid to ask questions by speaking up and asking in the chat or asking the SIG or sub project Slack later. A big example is like I am hosting this session for the first time, so uh, like kudos to my mentors for this. Also, the Kubernetes community is a very big, diverse place. It's diverse in terms of people, skills, technology, and so much more. It might take you a while to find a place that clicks with you. So there might be a particular SIG or sub project where you find uh, more opportunities to build the skills or connections that are important to you. Don't forget that you can move around and explore other groups within the project. Most contributors end up contributing in multiple areas generally, and many find a particular area that they deep dive on. So contributors have the same uh, contributors have the same journey. So you will need to explore to find the best places for you. So it's all about exploring. And regardless of which areas you explore, we need your help, and we are glad that you are here. So yeah, I would say like you need to explore, you need to talk to folks, get yourself engaged in the discussion. How like if they are overwhelming, just you need to be somewhat persistent, and like if you are not understanding something, just Google it, and you will and try to understand yourself before asking a question. That way, when you are asking one, you are now I would say research backed, and you can actually understand the reply as well. So yeah, we covered a lot today. We covered a lot today, and here are some of the resources. Uh, you can come and join us, and there's I have already told you about the Kubernetes developer Google group. I have already you can check out the overview. You can also follow the new contributor guide. So there is actually an guide on case.dev/guide where there is you can have this you can understand every particular aspect of the Kubernetes community and all. And then there's a first contribution guide as well. So you can check out these resources out over there. And don't forget to join the Slack. Now, if you have any kind of questions, you can obviously ask, and I would be happy to help you. Yeah, so if there are no questions, then we can end the session. And it's very nice to have you all here. And yeah, bye bye, everyone.